Come on, mate, it's time to go digging. Hey, g'day, Duggar and Buds here. Let's go have a quick look around what's happening in the patch this April. It's the end of April and around about mid-autumn down here in southwest Queensland, and we're well into the growing season. Up in North Queensland, now is the start of your veggie season. It's a perfect time to be out gardening and growing things. Let's go have a look around the farm. A few months ago, I threw a couple of tomatoes in the ground, hoping for the best. And that's exactly what I got. One of the absolute best crops of tomatoes I've ever grown. These tomatoes are just so abundant. As you can see, there's lots of developed fruit that's ripening on the vine. And there's some beautiful new branches and flowers up above to keep this going until winter comes. I've taken a few steps along the way here to help this crop out. I've individually staked each tomato plant and then run a series of strings to connect them and let the vines grow along. With some of the strong winds here and such heavy fruiting, the strings have broken over time. So it's been a continuous process of restringing and supporting the tomato plant as it grows. I've also been trimming off a lot of the excess leaves to ensure that most of the energy has gone into fruiting. This seems to have worked rather well. Now, I've used no sprays or chemicals whatsoever on these, and I haven't seen any bugs on them throughout their life so far, which is quite different from North Queensland, where if you leave a tomato on the vine too long, it's going to be susceptible to a number of different problems. When the fruit are getting to around about this stage, I'm picking them. I put them here in trays and let them sit in the sun for a few days. They sweeten up so beautifully and turn into absolute bombs of flavour. Looks like I've got a bit of a tomato thief here. Moshi really loves her tomatoes. What I've really been looking forward to growing here is my favourite veggie, of course, and that is wasabi nut. This row here is a trial of something I've never grown before. It's a rootless daikon that's grown for the leaves. They're high in calcium. For the first time, I've been able to try growing garlic, and I've had really great success with these bulbs that I've put in here. Lettuce down here grows like weeds. It's a lot easier to get them established than it is in North Queensland, where you do have to wait for the days to cool substantially before your lettuce will really take hold. Nobody seems to have told my watermelon that it shouldn't go again. I've had this zucchini here growing for quite some time, and it's so big now it actually scares me. That's a whopper. One of the biggest differences I've found between gardening up in North Queensland and gardening down here in southwest Queensland is the addition of flowers to your garden. I'm really enjoying getting creative and planting flowers amongst the vegetables here. These little violas have found a cosy little spot in amongst the spring onion. Happy little chaps, aren't they? It's called a golden egg eggplant, and as the fruit mature, they turn yellow. I have a lovely few rows here of rocket, radish and mizuna. It's simply delicious and so full of flavour. These radishes have only developed really small leaves on them, but they are absolutely ready to eat. My first lot of strawberries in the ground. This eggplant and these spring onions are ready to go. Another plant that I've been dying to try down here is potato. And boy, are these guys off to a great start. As they're growing above the ground, I just keep piling mulch up against the leaves in there. Carrots are coming along nicely. Tomates and spinach. And chards are starting to get hold too. And just look at how crazy these petunias have gone. Parsley bushes down here are really full and huge at the moment. I could never quite get them to grow this well in North Queensland. This rocket grows quicker than the weeds down here, and boy is it full of flavour. This area over here is also planted with a whole heap of seedlings just beginning to come up. I even decided it was time to plant peas. So I planted peas. I planted stringless peas. I've planted snow peas and even sweet peas. Lots and lots of peas. And they should all do really well up against this fenced support here. As well as planting seedlings, there's a whole heap of other things that I've been doing to help get this farm up and going. I've got a couple of new beds here in various stages of regeneration. I've started planting several trees to begin making windbreaks here. Using trees to help protect my microsystem is going to be really important. When you're planning on running a fairly decent sized veggie garden, one of the things that's going to be really important to have a good supply of is fertiliser. And I've found a really good way to ensure that I have a continuous supply of beautiful natural product to put on the garden. This is my beginner worm station here. They're thriving in here and they just love being fed scraps of my veggies. They won't touch stuff from the supermarkets at all. Fussy buggers. But what I'm after from the worms is this stuff. Worm tea. Diluted with a bit of water and sprinkled over your garden. This stuff is just absolutely an amazing tonic for great healthy plants. Thanks guys. Just to be on the safe side and ensure that I never run out of good food to put on the garden, I've also done this. I found an old bathtub in the backyard and I've converted it into a worm farm. Now this is still in its early stages and there's probably not too many in here at the moment, but it's the same basic idea. I'll fill this up with worms and then let all the good stuff collect down here. As well as that, I've got myself a great supply of sugarcane mulch here, which will keep me going for a couple of months here. There you go. That's a real quick look at what I've got in the garden at the moment and how the farm's going. Things are looking really good here and I'm super happy with the taste of the veggies that I'm producing. I do just have to keep an eye on my little tomato thief though. I think it's time to get some of these tomatoes off the vine before Moshi does the job for me. Dugga and Moshi out.